Welcome to my podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about Resident Evil 7. Again, a little while back, I made a video on the base game, and I'll link it up there in the corner for y'all. I went over what I liked, the flaws, and some other stuff. What I didn't go over was the DLC, because I didn't have the time. To celebrate Requiem's release, I thought I'd go over each of the extra game modes, in a half-assed way, of course. If you've been a fan for a while, you know how I work at this point. I can't do long documentary videos. Anyway, let's just jump into it.
Fuck me!
I forgot to mention this in the other video, but this was a demo released back in December 2016 to build up hype for the game. It starts with a tape from the point of view of Clancy tied up in the kitchen of the guest house. Pete wakes up and tries to set us free, but he hears a noise from behind and cuts to black. The game cuts to us, a new character, lying on the floor, and we only have one goal: to get out of the guest house. I'm not gonna go over every puzzle in this game. If I do, we'll be here forever, and we don't have all that time. And it's literally similar to the base game. The secret passage has a backdoor key and a wild Jack running around. That actually made me jump the first time, not gonna lie. After going to the back door, he'll jump us and we die. The ending cuts back to Clancy and Pete trying to escape. They are attacked by Mia, but only Pete dies, as we'll see in a sec. This is considered the bad ending. There are two other endings to get. In the hidden passage after booting up again, there's a fuse. You know where it goes. The attic has a basement key. Heading out of the basement, there's body bags hanging from the ceiling, and we're attacked by a molded one. You can try to leave, but fucking Jack will block the door like the asshole he is. It only takes 3 kicks to open it. While running around, you had to have noticed that your hands start growing black roots and shit. That's because if you get hit by the molded even once, it infects you. Even if you're blocking the attack, this only gets worse as you make your way up to the attic. While you're on the ground dying, Jack comes up to you and taunts you. Also, you can freeze up the mold man by just hitting him with the bag if you're lucky. He's stuck for the entire run after this, making it a breeze. If you manage to not get hit, which is a fucking tough thing to do since the mold man desperately wants to play a game of grab ass with you, you can leave and justice isn't served because someone slipped drugs into our pocket. God damn it. There is one more secret in this before we move on, and you gotta get it with the true ending in mind. I just looked up a guide on Google. I'm sure you can too. There are parts of a dummy hand around the house that you can find and piece together. You can point to certain areas of the house where 5 people supposedly died, with clues from a book you can find in the locked drawer. After that, you gotta watch the videotape again. Once you do all this, you can get a coin to use in the full game. There's also a sign that reads, "You're the best ever." Thanks, Evie. Fuck-ass kid. I think this is a good introduction to the game, as it gives us just enough to understand what's happening, but it doesn't reveal its hand completely. It can get annoying trying to get the real ending, but my point still stands. Before we move on, no, I'm not talking about kitchen. There's nothing new there. Released shortly after the main game, banned footage was released in 2 parts. Like the new Stranger Things, there are 4 game modes in banned footage, those being Nightmare, Bedroom, 21, and Daughters. I think it's best if we just power through. In this mode, you play as Clancy, the cameraman. We're trapped in the basement of the main house from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. and we have to survive. Sound familiar? Around the map, there are scrap machines which generate, it's on the tip of my tongue. I don't know what it is. Scrap can be used to buy or upgrade your weapons, supplies, and gain abilities to help you survive. There are also corrosive doors in the base game that unlock new areas of the basement. As each hour progresses, the waves of enemies get more difficult to fend off. You can use scrap to set up traps for them. This can range from machine guns to freeze traps to tripwire bombs. Not everything lasts forever, so use them wisely. Every hour, a wave of enemies will spawn, and every other hour, Jack will show up, and you'll have to defeat him. The award you get for passing each hour is more scrap. Wonderful. Beating Nightmare unlocks Night Terror, which is a more challenging version of the game mode. Beating either one regardless unlocks extra content depending on your final score, which you can use in your next run. It's a fun and challenging add-on. Not one I keep going back to, but I had a good time with it. In Bedroom, you play as Clancy. Again, you're cuffed to the bed by one of your hands, but it's faulty, so you're able to move around. It starts with Marguerite bringing you food, in quotes, because it's a pile of shit. It does poison you if you try to eat it. In case it wasn't obvious enough, the goal this time is to escape the bedroom. There are clues and items you can use, but there is a catch. If you make too much noise, Marguerite will come back up and check on you. That means everything has to be put back the way it was, and if one small thing is off, she'll kill you. This is a stressful yet fun twist on your average escape room that I haven't seen before. I know there's going to be some guy that's like, what about this or that? That's why I mentioned it based on what I've seen. If you comment something like that, there's a high chance I've never seen it. What I have seen was a moment where Jack interrupts Marguerite while she's coming up to check on us. Leading her to come in to stab us in a fit of rage, Jack comes in to calm her down. They hug it out, and we pass out for a bit. I encountered this scene only once, and it hasn't occurred again when I replayed it. Anyway, yeah, we're able to escape, and we fuck up Marguerite's life before we leave. Like I said before, this is a good blend of a fun escape room and a tense atmosphere. I'd be down to do something like this in real life, aside from the whole risking my life part.
You stupid!
In 21, you take control of Take a guess. You're facing off against Lucas this time, only it's not him. He's watching over us and a guy, Hoffman, as we play blackjack his way. Closest to 21 wins, and if you go over 21, you fail. There are special cards called trump cards. Look up the word Trump in the dictionary. These cards can help you get the upper hand, whether it's by increasing the bet or adding a specific card at the table. The first match has our fingers on the line. The bet goes up by 1 after each round, until either of us loses. The second match has us getting shocked at a higher voltage each round. We aren't given a sponge bath beforehand, so it's going to be more painful. Lucas even says that he got the shockers from an execution chamber. After getting shocked to death, Lucas pulls this shit.
Did you hear that? Hoffman, you tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, you saw and heard that right. He then brings out a saw for the final round. It's only a matter of getting the saw to the opposite end of the table. Once you're able to do that, Lucas pulls the "My Guy is Stronger" card that every kid has, which automatically makes him win. This had me stumped for a long time. This recording you're looking at is my first time beating it. I just decided to look it up after a while, and then I felt stupid after finding out what to do. You're supposed to use the love your enemy trump card to screw him over. After that, Hoffman wakes up and dies for real. That's fucked up. And then Lucas brings us to his birthday escape room. That's a neat way to tie it to the main game, but it's not enough to make me like this one. It relies too much on RNG and pure luck, and it can get annoying on occasion. There are other modes after beating this. Survival has us facing off against 5 opponents, which are all just Hoffman with different scratches on the bag. The final Hoffman is partially molded and was a bitch to get through. Survival Plus has us facing off against 10 Hoffmans with the shock thing. I didn't finish this one. I didn't have the time or patience. Maybe at some point in the future I'll get back to it, but not anytime soon. Daughters puts us in the shoes of Zoe on the night the baker's world was flipped upside down. That's a Bel Air joke. Based on what we're shown before you know who shows up, the Bakers were just a normal family. People were right about Lucas. He was just born this way. After the storm that took out the Annabelle, the Bakers take in Mia and Evelyn. Evelyn takes control of the family except for Zoe. Something I heard about this was that the reports from the main game said the mold takes time to affect the host, while here it just kicks in immediately. You could argue that, but there are moments where the family resists Evelyn's influence, like when Marguerite tells us to escape through the garage with the car key. The only reason we were caught there is because the little shit was listening. Also, in the canon ending, the family acts how they were when the story started. Also, come to think of it, I don't think we ever saw them act normal in the main game, did we? Except for that one moment, but that was more like a vision if anything. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the gameplay involves a lot of what modern horror games do. You know, sneaking around, not being able to defend yourself, which works, but it's not as impactful in my opinion.
Later, dink.
Not a Hero has us take control of Chris Redfield immediately after Ethan is rescued. He, alongside the rebranded Umbrella, because that exists only for this game, are hunting down Lucas after he ran off from his escape room. The entire thing is set down here in the salt mine, and he rigged the caves with gas traps and explosives. Also, he took some of our men and put them in saw traps. While I'm at it, I'll mention something about the shotgun we're given. It doesn't have the same oomph as the other guns in the game, but that's just me. Because we're playing as Chris, you know he's gonna punch his way through this shit. The typical enemies are here, you know, the molded, four-legged. Now there's 3 new molded that Lucas throws at us. There are these little blobs that act like Timu head crabs. There are also white molded that require some special ammo to take out. And then there's the mini boss, the Mama molded. That's what it's called, I'm not kidding. It's basically the big fat molded, but it's white. There's also a fun little silo where we fight off a horde of these things, and we trick Lucas into thinking we're dead. While we're catching up to him, we're led to an underground lab where Lucas and some connection people were experimenting with Evelyn and the mold. Apparently he made the things fight each other. I do the same. Chris eventually does catch up to Lucas, but it isn't that easy. Let's be real here. Lucas melts and becomes this thing. I couldn't even describe what this is supposed to be if I tried. I just know it's Lucas and he's a big evil resident. He's got a weak spot and I bet you can never find it. Anyway, once he's dead, Chris stops the data being sent, we quarantine the area, and we walk off into the sunset. This was a fun add-on and a good way to wrap up the story, since in the main game, we never go after Lucas after the, you know, whatever.
Get out of here now, Tracy, now! Hey, you forgot the power glove!
The end of Zoe takes place not long after the events of the main game, and Not a Hero. As you could have guessed, choosing Mia was the canon route, and Zoe just fucking dies. In this story, we're in the shoes of Joe Baker, Jack's older brother who we've never heard of until now. He notices that something's wrong with Zoe, and the Umbrella guy he kidnaps is a cure for it. That's pretty much the story. Most of the combat consists of your fists this time. There's no guns here, except if you're a fucking cheater bitch. I will admit, seeing this guy beat the shit out of the molded is fucking ridiculous and hilarious. You're probably looking at the footage right now, wondering what that timer timer is. They are time challenges. Basically, there are moments where you'll have to fight off the wave of these things, and you'll have to kill them within the time frame. I didn't bother with this, it's just post-game stuff. You could sneak up on them and then rip them apart, or stomp on them if they're four-legged. You can't stealth kill the fat one, which took me way too long to kill. Even with all the boxing effigies I got, they improve your power level or something. In certain segments, there are moldy gators swimming about, but they aren't much of an issue when the spear is involved. Oh yeah, there's also the Swamp Man. Throughout the game, this moldy son of a bitch covered in bugs will stalk you. Not like Mr. X or Nemesis or the guy from 4, but you know, he's still there. There are 2 occasions where we'll have to fight him, mano a mano. It's fairly silly. When we fight him on the boat, he'll run over and do some WWE moves on you, throw a barrage of punches, and he has this one attack I've nicknamed the Where My Hug At. In the end, we get the upper hand, but he does come back and kidnap Zoe. He takes her to the church, and we find out that the Swamp Man is really Jack. Wait, didn't we kill him in the boathouse? Wasn't he a big-ass seal? We end up getting locked in a coffin, thrown in the river, and brought back to the house. We're given a bionic arm. Yeah, that's right, a fucking bionic arm. Complete with a charge-up swing. Inside, Zoe's there, and Jack waits for us. We fight his ass, and he dies. It's fairly more the same gameplay, so you're not missing much. Except with a charge-up attack, and pow, right in the kisser, you know? We cure Zoe, she wakes up, and yeah, happy ending. Yay! That final act went off the wall, mainly because of the bionic arm. The gators annoyed me slightly, and Jack Baker, oh boy, he should have stayed dead to be frank. Him being brought back kind of ruins his moment with Ethan during that vision. That's just me. Somebody might think it's peak. This game mode was designed to be as challenging and infuriating as possible. The main goal is to search the house looking for the greenhouse key, run to the greenhouse, and kill Marguerite without dying. Sounds easy, right? Of course it isn't, dumbass. The place is flooded with booby traps and enemies. The only way you can get items is through these crates, with a different color depending on how valuable the item is. If the box only has 1 strip of tape on it, it's a bomb. Also, if you die, you have to go back to the beginning. But a statue will sit where you died, so you can break it and get an item you got from a previous run. I had tried playing this over and over again, but I kept failing. What you see here is my first time beating it. It all boils down to luck, and in terms of what you get. Hell, I got lucky beating Marguerite. The greenhouse is littered with traps, and I didn't know I had a few left lying around, and I was down to my knife. If you want a challenge, this is something you should try.
Please, Daddy.
I told you, when I'm finished, you can have what's left.
In this game, you play as Mia, and you have to feed Jack. That's it. It's all for shits and giggles. Based on what I've seen from the other games, this is probably the closest we're gonna get to having a mercenaries mode in this game. That's not entirely a bad thing. This mode is fun and wacky and shit. There's even little rewards you can get for beating the game at a certain time limit. Killing enemies even gives you more time. You can even combine food and make better shit and earn more points. Anyways, I'm giving this 5 out of 8 bones because it needs more salt. Well, that's basically all there is for Re7. I don't know why it took me this long to talk about this, but it did. Hopefully I'll get to make other stuff on time. I don't want to be pushing 40 and talk about the same trendy shit to stay afloat. However, if you made it this far, do what you need to do, hit the bell and everything. I appreciate whoever came by to watch the slop I put out. I know it won't be as big as the Arkham video I did, but you know for a fact I'm doing this shit for the love of the game. Whatever the algorithm wants can kiss my ass. I don't got Mr. Beast money to do that. I don't even make 40K a year. I got off track. Take care and don't be stupid. I'll be back when I can.